Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Back here with another quick weekly recap video, as these ones will be many to come starting in January. So let's get started. Only currently in one trade, which is Aussie Kiwi, and I closed on Kiwi CAD, and I also closed on Euro Kiwi during the week. And I'll also go over Pound Aussie, which is a trade I didn't take, but I'll talk about my psychological uh, thoughts behind it. So let's get started. Aussie Kiwi mentioned this one in before this week even started, talking about the potential risk reward in this one. We started with the higher time frame. Um, we know that this overall move is rather very corrective. We see a lot of these bigger corrections as the price move down. So very good indication that this overall can be just a one big kind of a channel or a descending channel kind of correction that was pushing price down. Because we see from overall higher time frame, we zoom out, we see that this is a one big push. So this is clearly an impulsive phase of the market condition. And this is more corrective, pushing the price down. So as the price forming and pushing down, we see that I kind of just break this overall low level, which is kind of the previous low and previous bigger correction. So we understand that if price is likely to form this kind of a descending channel or falling wedge structure, a very likely a reversal structure, we could see that potential move from this upcoming days and weeks. And if we really zoom into a lower time frame here, we understand that when this kind of falling wedge kind of form and we're waiting for a bullish confirmation from the price. So even if price is kind of pushing out here, we want to wait for a rather bigger correction, a bigger kind of structure to form that kind of give us clue that this will be a continuation move, a continuation correction to push the price up further. So in this case, this is exactly kind of how I take look into this. Was I was waiting for this larger structure to develop. There was few mini structure here. You can one can argue that these are also potential entries. I personally was waiting for a little bit more confirmation because this overall move down is still quite deep and quite far, right? And you want to wait for a little bit more development from the price. So overall, we see this bigger structure forming, and I like that we had this double bottom here. So two swing highs, two swing lows, and then we go down to the lower time frame, and then we see that there is a potential kind of inverse head and shoulder pattern here. So you see prices already giving you a little bit of clues. We see this push up on the lower time frame, and I like this lower time frame continuation. This is where I enter, and I just pretty much give a very generous stop loss. I put my stop loss just below the previous low, 35 pips, and then just looking to see what the price will do. So we just see a strong impulsive move pushing to the price upside, and that's when I just set my stop loss to 1-to-1 profit. So just at the top of this correction, so perfect 1% secure, and looking to see what the price will do here in the upcoming weeks. So right now, maybe this is forming a head and shoulder, maybe it's not, but it's still not clear. So we're still giving give the price lots of room for further development, and we'll see how that goes in the upcoming weeks. And really, the first target, is just the previous swing high top in this area. That's already going to give me 5.821 or so. And if we really zoom out here, if we really see this as a big bullish impulse and this is just a correctional phase of the market, we can very likely to see price continue to the next previous top and then potentially pushing out of that. This can just one big continuation correction for this overall move, and we're totally seeing upside afterwards. So definitely upside potential, but of course waiting and be more just on the sideline waiting to see what will happen in this overall area for the upcoming week, and we'll take it from there. So next one I'm going to go over is Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD I went over in the previous weekly outlook that the trade was still on. I want to just quickly go over how I exit the position. Went over these in my Telegram group as well, but uh, what made me exit was when price made this low here, when price was potentially forming this correction. I was wanting to see if this correction would push the price lower. Instead, price pushed the upside and then almost tagged me out. I mentioned in the group that I set my stop loss just below this correction, which is the last correction we'll see the drop. So this correction secured to me about 2-to-1 or so, and then almost tagged me out here, but it did not. It dropped down once more, and I was gonna see, is this going to form a right shoulder, a left shoulder, right head, right shoulder to push the price down. I mentioned, I think in the live stream, that I'm just going to set the stop loss above this, about 3.5 to 1 or so. And I didn't want to hold through a bigger correction because price likely to form that bigger kind of movement, because this move is so sharp now, and we're not likely to get a small correction to push the price down. We're likely to get a larger, deeper kind of structure form before the continuation. And in my management plan, I did not want to, again, hold through a deeper correction. So in this case, I just take out profit around here, 3.5 to 1. And looking back at it, I'm very happy with the overall result. You see the price actually popped to the upside. It will take me out here for 2% anyway, so I managed to get 1.5 or more. So I'm pretty very happy with the result. And overall, looking back at it, still interesting to see what will happen in overall price action here. Are we going to just get a deeper correction and still going down afterwards? That's a possibility. So I'll keep an eye on this one for the upcoming week. And the last trade I closed was Euro Kiwi. Again, mentioned this one very similar to KiwiCAD. I mentioned that in the group, mentioned that in the live stream. And this one I want to go over a little bit deeper because someone I think messaged me about, that you could have maybe exit here and gain maybe 1.5 to 2% more. This is how we don't let the result. We shouldn't be result oriented, okay? And because we see the result, we pull back and then price take me out for less profit. But the key here is that I'm looking for profit to at least to be the recent top, if not continue to the top or more side. And that's kind of my vision, or that on a higher time frame, that's kind of how I see. So I don't want to be choking the price, so to speak, that if I move my stop loss higher and I can secure 1%, less 1% is nothing if I can get 5 or 6 more percent up, right? That's the key difference, is understanding the potential risk reward, understanding you give a reasonable kind of room for the price to work with, unless price shows you differently. While price was in this overall area, is looking actually pretty good to form a potential continuation correction. That's kind of how I was looking at the time that I mentioned, this is a big impulse. Remember, there's a entry here for me that got off for break even, and I mentioned I would still be in this trade if this forms a continuation correction to continue. It's just that this time it didn't happen, but overall, that's kind of what my perception at the time for the trade. So just setting a 2% stop loss below this correction when the correction was going this way. I didn't want to see the trade just continue downside more and more and more, and then just end up securing 2%. Again, looking back at it, I'm very satisfied with the outcome. Okay, and because this time it didn't work out doesn't mean it won't work out next time, right? What it matters is how your trading plan and what your management plan is when it comes to something like this. My management plan is, once we impulse out, we start forming correction. I want to start giving the price some room to move, but I also want to secure some profit. I don't want to just see this correction start dropping. This is how I drew the correction at the time. We had a few swing highs and few swing lows, and then price dropped down here massively, and then just take me out for about 2 to 1. So that's Euro Kiwi. Last one I want to go over is Pound Aussie. This is what I would call my personal, maybe psychological misstep. What I mean by that is in a vacuum, meaning that there's no other pairs available. If I see this kind of price action, I would have entered it on it. But because at this current time, when I was looking at this trade or looking at this overall price, my bias on most of the Aussie pairs was bearish. Okay, so it kind of give me, even myself, I would admit that it kind of give me a little bit of a bias, so to speak, that because I see all the Aussie bearish, I didn't expect Pound Aussie can be bearish, because that means there would be strength in Aussie. Okay, so that's a misstep for me that I wanna admit it myself, because looking back at this overall price action, if we see this on a higher time frame, really this is just overall higher time frame ascending channel structure, and you have an ascending channel within the ascending channel, super massive bearish moon pulse, and then we're just in this expanding structure, right? And then if we go down to the 4 hour, I even talk about this. I was in this one of the short, I remember as well, and then this was a short that I was entering, and it just didn't work out. And then after that, as I see this price develop here, and even though I mentioned this in the streams, I mentioned this could be a head and shoulder pattern, but for some reason, even I just didn't include that in my main watch list. And then looking back at it, this is what I do every week. And this is a good lesson for everyone: is every week, or at least during the weekend, you would journal your trades. You would, do your reviews and whatnot, and then you'll do your forecast, of course. But also, you will look at any potential trades that you would have missed, because this is a key lesson that you're not always going to catch all the trades, right? You're not going to be awake 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, or 7 days a week for crypto. But the point is, looking back at it, if you were present, would you have taken it? Now that you see the outcome, or now that you see how the price has developed, right? When I look back at this, I did see this head and shoulder. I see a mini head and shoulder here as well. I see price broke down from this kind of right shoulder, and then really, if we go down to a lower time frame, we did have this continuation correction. So if you're looking back at it, if even with the entry here, stop loss here, you were pretty much in 3 to 1 or so profit. So this is a good lesson for even myself and other people as well. As I do I do agree that sometimes don't let our bias fool us, right? Even though at the time I had bias with other Aussie pairs being bearish, but price actually, if we're in the vacuum, if this pound Aussie pair is the only pair I can trade, and I see this kind of price action, yeah, I do think I would have entered this trade. Okay, so that's it, everyone. So that's this week's weekly kind of trade recap videos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow when I make a weekly trading outlook. All right, so thank you very much, guys, and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.